Gen Z, what is up? Gen Z, what is up, man? It's not a podcast, episode 25. It's not a podcast, man. It is a show where we bring the most pertinent topics pertaining to Gen Z, whether that's within politics, business, or media. The idea is to help y'all be perceptive to build what?
Perspective.
Okay.
Perspective.
If y'all were in, last episode, we got, this dusty guy
Kanai
right
Webb,
here.
a.k.a. Pablo,
Okay.
a.k.a. that.
Okay.
I don't like to be introduced as Dusty. So.
Okay. Dusty guy said.
Kanai Webb.
Okay, well,
name's Kanai Webb.
Listen, we got a slew of topics to get y'all today. Listen, we are hosted on the Perspective Media Network. You can catch us on Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, all the good platforms, of course. And yeah, we have a slew of topics to get into. First off, the Davos conference has been happening all week. We've been seeing interviews from Jamie Dimon. The World Economic Forum had hosted Citadel's leader and Larry Fink, which is the CEO of BlackRock, and all these different leaders. Trump spoke. Who else spoke?
Canadian president.
Word.
Prime Minister.
Word.
Everybody spoke, bro.
And I want to talk about that. And then that's going to be a big conversation because overall it's some of the biggest leaders in the world talking. And what they are talking about is what we're going to be focusing on. I do want to give a little bit of a history lesson it's not called, but something on the American Liberty League that I've, found out throughout this weekend and researching, which is pretty interesting because it's not talked about in American history, but it's one of the biggest coups that was almost very successful and maybe successful in the 1930s around World War II. So I want to speak about that. And then overall, I think what we've seen on the internet where if you've seen it, with SNEAKO, Andrew Tate, all of them doing the Hail Hitler song and doing all the signs and stuff, I think it's a great lesson about the internet. And I want to bring that to the show just for a little bit. I don't want to talk about it too long. The Oscars, Sinners got nominated for 16 nominations. I want to speak about that. And then we have some existential questions to talk about later in the back half of the episode. Other than that, I think that is this week's news for It's Not a Podcast. Okay, let's get straight into it. Listen, he ain't a co-host yet, but we'll see if we want to add him as a co-host in general, but he's here just to fill in some space overall, and I just want to see how the show is going to kind of develop. And last episode was a great episode, so I wanted to bring this into the next episode. So we'll see. Episode 25, we got a long ways to go. I'm shooting for 600 on the light end. Okay. All right, Davos conference. You got any highlights from the Davos conference? What you been thinking about?
My biggest thing was Jamie Dimon. Basically, Jamie Dimon, biggest banker in our economy, in the world.
CEO of JP Morgan.
CEO of JP Morgan, all of that. Really great guy. But he was doing an interview on Davos, and he was being interviewed by this woman who probably was the boldest interviewer out of all of them.
Facts.
She was basically applying that pressure, as journalists should be doing, is applying pressure. And when it came down to asking questions about Trump, he was very reluctant, took his time, very patient, very particular, right? When it came down to his own business, for example, when she asked her about the credit cards, how does he feel about Trump putting a credit card cap on 10%? He was very definitive on the answer. Talked about how we would lose less money, we wouldn't have that much access to capital. If rates went down, it basically will cripple the middle class, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like what we need to really focus on is why is corporate America so particular about when they speak about Trump? Obviously, yes, they're getting sued. They're losing their positions. He's going against them. It's literally mafia. But in the same breath, it's like, this is JP Morgan, right? JP Morgan, if you don't know, you should know, this is top 10. Like, we talk about Apple, NVIDIA, $3 trillion market cap. JP Morgan is like number 6, number 7. They got bread in the game.
JP Morgan is old money and old connections that supersede a lot of American leaders today. Absolutely. Their connections go into Europe. Their connections go into deep world connections that powerful families like the Morgans or the DuPont families and stuff like that, they deal within that, which kind of like supersede a lot of high positions within America in general.
And their influence is really like, because think about in 2008 when all the banks were underneath, like, what was it, Bear Stearns? No, Lehman Brothers. Like, Lehman Brothers been around since like the 1850s. So JP Morgan is from that era, right? So even if Jamie Dimon was to speak outlandish about Trump, I don't really think he's going to get hit that much, drawback. He would not. He got a $5 billion lawsuit. That's nothing for JP Morgan's company at all. Like, what are the shareholders really going to do? He's been carrying that company for the last 20 years, since like 1998. So
let's back it up a little bit. The Davos conference obviously hosts a lot of world leaders, right? It's supposed to be a conference that's supposed to be for the better of the world. It's supposed to talk about all the problems that's happening in the world. And at the moment, the biggest conversations have been, one, the government spending, governments around the world spending. But if you in the U.S. and you don't know about it, we're at $36 trillion in debt. And it's continuing to spiral. And our interest loans are I think it's like $1 trillion a year, right?
yeah.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
Insane. So it's spiraling at the moment. In addition to that, we have geopolitical tensions. So one being tariffs and two being Greenland at the moment, with Trump speaking about him wanting to take Greenland. And beforehand, when they asked if it was going to be done through force, he was like, we'll see. And now he has recanted, saying that it's not going to be done through force and they're going to reach some type of deals. But the whole point of what Denmark and why Denmark did not want to relinquish Greenland is, one, because it's a stronghold above the U.S., so it has some type of leverage. They have some type of like real world leverage by having Greenland. But also they wanted to keep the integrity of the Arctic and Greenland. And they were saying if Trump was going to take Greenland, because at this point it seems like something that he wants so much so that he's willing to go and put tariffs on them. If not, then I just don't see that Trump is going to be able to take the Greenland. What other than messing up the Arctic or the minerals in Greenland are they going to be using it for? You know, if it's going to be just for national security, I mean, if Denmark fell to Russia or if Denmark fell to China, then the U.S. would just go in anyway. So ultimately, it's for the domination and control over it at this moment right now. What do they have at this moment right now? I'm thinking it's going to be rare minerals.
But you know what it is, too? Even with
point.
those, like, rare minerals, like, those rare minerals are under a sheet of ice still. Like, yes, the Arctic caps are melting and everything, but it's still going to take time. So even if he got Greenland tomorrow, it's going to take about 10 years at least to even extract those minerals.
So then what would be the point of grabbing Greenland? Is it you really just believe it's just national security?
Bro, we can talk about Venezuela as well. Like, even with Venezuela, they don't even have the infrastructure to extract all that oil from those reserves.
So it's just power, you're saying?
Listen,
or what do you think?
I feel like you can't you're going to go crazy trying to understand someone who's irrational.
Sorry.
That's what you can't have rational thinking with someone who's irrational. Like, this dude is literally like just walking around punching his friends at the same time he's punching sucker punching his friends,
making them call him daddy.
Exactly, right?
Literally, that's not a joke.
Yeah.
That's not a joke.
And even though he recanted his his aggressiveness with Greenland, he did make sure to insult every single nation in the audience, like
NATO, how
they called me daddy over Greenland. He talked shit about Canada, saying, Canada, you're there because of us. Literally, it's just
So go back to Davos a little bit.
Yeah.
And the World Forum and everything like that. So those are the conversations that's happening at that conference. Now with the Jamie Dimon talk, it's just interesting because like you're supposed to have the bourgeoisie of America, right, which is the politicians, wealthy politicians, or the politicians that have some type of say. You have the big business owners, right, the CEOs, the top 500 companies, that those CEOs probably have a little bit more say than the average American, right? They're able to pay into super PACs that form their interest and, aid their interests. So when it comes down to election time and they're putting stuff in the bills, so those companies can be able to profit. Jamie Dimon has Trump's cabinet on speed dial. Jamie Dimon probably also had Biden's cabinet on speed dial. Jamie Dimon probably also had Obama's cabinet on speed dial. The reason why I'm saying that is because in these interviews, they posit as if Jamie Dimon can't do anything to Trump. He's just going to get all this backlash on JP Morgan, and he'll get a $5 billion lawsuit, and he has to shut up and because of this. I thought Jamie Dimon was Jamie Dimon. You see what I'm saying? Like, I thought Jamie Dimon, the way that everybody in the finance world and people that knows economics hold Jamie Dimon to this light, like, man, that's that guy. Yeah. And if he's that guy and he knows that this is harming America, one, the geopolitical tensions, the tariffs, right? Everybody's saying it at the World Economic Forum. This is not a smart thing to do. Same thing the way that he's handling Greenland and all these different, threatening tariffs on the EU if they're not going to give Greenland. He's denouncing that. So why denounce it in a little, I just don't think that that's the right thing to do. And when they ever ask him a direct question about Trump, he's like, well, I'm not going to talk bad about Trump. I'm not going to give y'all what y'all want. I thought he's bad for the American interests and the American people at that moment, the decisions he's making for the economy. So why not say that? He's pussyfooting around a little bit and won't just answer the actual questions. I understand you might be scared for your company, but you are supposed to be the person that stops that. Jamie Dimon's supposed to be the person that stops that. If not Jamie Dimon, then who? Elon? If not Elon, then who? Zuckerberg?
Elon's in it on it.
Exactly, and that's the point that I'm making, is that all of the bourgeoisie that we're supposed to have that also checks the government, right? It's supposed to be that linkage, and it's not there anymore. Let me bring it to the World Economic Forum, which hosted Larry Fink, the Citadel CEO, and the president of the ECB, the European Central Bank. I watched that 40-minute special, even though in my mind I'm like, I'm watching 5 people who are able to make some of the most significant decisions around this world, and everybody's trying to figure out what is the problems. They go and highlight, they say, one is government spending, $36 trillion is just out of the ordinary, it's crazy. I don't understand how all these governments can keep spending this amount of money and they're not being responsible and they're just pushing it off to their central bank to figure it out and finance them. I would agree. The government is pushing their money out and they're trying to push off that financial responsibility off to the banks. I agree with that. The only problem is that they're acting as if they have no pull on the government. They have more pull on the government than the average American. They have more pull on the government than medium and small businesses around the world. They are the government. They are the ones that are spending all the money to go say, let me put this politician in here, serve these interests, put this bill in, and get it passed. That's what a super PAC is. So we can't act as if these huge companies and huge conglomerates are saying, oh, look, the government's spending too much. Bro, the same people that went into whatever business school at Wharton or at Stern or at whatever, Berkeley College, the same business people that went into an investment bank to end up at Jamie Dimon's position is the same people that went into those business schools and went into the consulting firms. That's the same arm. It's the same business school. So we cannot act as if these people don't know each other. The consultants that run the government and tell them what to do with their finances are the same consultants that are buddy-buddy with Wall Street. And they're saying, yo, the government is financially spending way too much. Fiscally spending way too much. Bro, they're not hiring government people from SUNY schools, etc. And then making sure that these people are making decisions on the government's money. They are not. That is not how it runs. How it runs is they go employ somebody from KPMG or BCG and ask them, how are we going to work this thing out with the government? This is the bureaucratic process. Oh, how are we going to work this thing out with the government? They hire those consultants to go help them figure it out. Those consultants get paid every time. Track the bread. No matter what, if the government is spending willy-nilly and it's going to all these BS places, those BS places are companies. Okay? Those companies are Boeing. The Lockheed Martin. You got something?
You saying it
JP
all,
Morgan.
Man.
Right? 2008. Right? Those bailouts come from the government. So they're saying that all these people are spending so much money. They're talking about the government. They're blaming it on the government. Right? These are the 5 smartest people in the world, supposedly. They're blaming it on the government. And yet the same people that they went to business school with is advising the government. And the people that are getting the contracts are the same people they went to business school with. So it seems like a whole game of hot potato of blame who, and yet who's getting rich? Who's getting rich, Kanai? It's not the American person.
Bro, I really
it's not the
feel
American
like
people. Who's getting rich? These companies are getting rich off of it. And they're playing and they're playing in our face, bro. I'm telling you. Who watches the Davos conference? Let's back that up a little bit. Who watches the Davos conference? It's the same people. Yo. It's the same people. It's all the same people. That's what I'm saying. Bro, nobody watches the Davos conference unless you're in finance and politics. Let's keep it a buck. Nobody. Nobody knows about the Davos conference like that.
That's not true. That's
Bro.
not true at all. That's not true at all. I feel like people watch it.
Who?
I watch it. I watch it.
You care about finance and politics. Who watches the Davos conference? Oh, please tell me. Please tell me right now. Do anybody you know right now, can you name me one person that you know in your life that watches the Davos conference?
You.
Anybody else? Anybody else?
No, I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly. Nobody watches the Davos conference other than the people that are in that sphere. And they're blaming other people. They're saying, yo, look at the government spending. Look what they're doing. Man, they're the ones getting the contracts. Elon's getting the contracts. They're playing in our face multiple times. In our face. I'm trying to tell y'all.
All right. So I feel like it's one or two of these, right?
Yeah.
I saw this quote by Vince Staples, very iconic guy. Y'all should check out some of his interviews. He brought up, he feels like we're living in a time of Idiocracy, the movie Idiocracy. That's plan A. Jamie Dimon, all of them. Maybe these people have gone to a point where they are senile. They can't understand basic morals. Their morals are all fucked up. I don't know.
You just called him a great guy.
Listen. It's hard to understand what's going on, right? Because morality's out the window. I just feel like greed can only take you so far, right? Who knows?
I agree.
Or it's B. They're all in on it.
Oh.
They don't like the way he's going about it. For example, the tariffs. I think everyone agrees that to a certain point we should have cut those deficits down. Now him going around the world, canceling people, attacking UK, attacking France, etc., attacking, I don't want to say it, but, this is basically, what's it called, friendly fire if you're going against Europe. If you ask me, you're literally shooting a teammate in the back. That is friendly fire at the max. Him going around talking shit about them, I don't think they like it, but they like what he's...
Keep going.
They like what he's implementing. I'm going to work on that. They like what he's implementing. So, it's A or B. It's A or B. A, maybe, man. Listen, bro. I don't know if you're ready to change the topic a little bit.
I'm not. Not yet.
Okay.
I'm hearing what you're saying about the idiocracy. I'm hearing what you say about they're all in on it. I'm on the all in on it. And trust me, on the American Liberty League, I'm going to talk about it because this is a historical coup that happened from some of the most, well, it didn't happen, but a historical coup that was attempted by the most powerful people in the world and funded by the most powerful banks in the world, right?
Yeah.
It would not behoove me to think that this is what's happening right now or what's happened prior, and this is just the effects of it. Now, backing it up a little bit, I do agree that some of these guys probably were in on it and was like, man, he's probably taking it way too far. I think Jamie Dimon's one, right? Mm-hmm. He's like, who cares if Biden, who cares if Trump is in it? I think they're all making bad decisions, but they didn't realize how bad Trump is for the economy, but also for the people.
Yeah.
Right? It's causing a lot of division in general, and it's messing up the global landscape of economics. For real. One of the ladies that was talking about it, and she was the president of the ECB. You know her name? It's okay.
Christina Lagarde.
Okay, perfect.
Christina Lagarde, I believe so.
Okay, Christina Lagarde. She goes, the biggest things that we're facing right now is that we need to be looking at the 1920s. The 1920s is where this type of technological innovation started again. So looking at the 1920s is a good way to base where we're at right now, right? Keep in mind, black people, we were not... Yeah, we didn't have our rights back then.
We're not even a factor.
Exactly. We're not even a factor. And in this whole conversation, I want to get to that point because, again, we are never the factor in this. But the 1920s, that's what we're saying, right? Mad innovation. This was happening. Conveyor belts and assembly lines and all that stuff is the same, similar stuff that they're talking about when it comes to AI.
Mm-hmm.
Right? 1 second. Similar stuff that they're talking about when it comes to AI. Now, she was saying... with that big bridge of AI that we need to get over, their whole push is to keep going with AI. That AI is going to be this huge technological advancement that's going to improve productivity by 1,000%, and it's going to be great for us because they're going to cure cancers with it. That's their whole basis off that, right? She goes and says the biggest problems to that is one, the privatization of data. And then 2, the compute, which is like the energy that's going to be able to power these data centers and all of that, right? And then she goes, and the effects that's going to have on the people, on the people if we're going to have a working class or not, if we're going to have a class that's not working, right? Keep in mind, they keep going to the conversation of a class that's not working. That is a slave class, or it's the giver. Either one, I still think people at the end of the giver realize that that's a slave class. Okay? Whatever. Backing that up. You have any thoughts on that?
I feel like it's just like I think about that all the time when AGI comes in. That's pretty much what she's talking about. Augmented general intelligence, whatever. It doesn't make any sense with capitalism because how are they going to make money, right? If they have all these robots in this ecosystem, Elon Musk talking about 1 billion robots, we're not working. Okay, so how are they going to get paid? We know that these are greedy people. They live and die for money. How are you going to get my money if I'm not having a job, if I'm not getting paid, if I have no level of income? You're going to do universal basic income?
Exactly.
That contradicts the whole entire
but that's what,
Cold War.
And that's the whole point. And that's the whole point because at this point, which is why it has to go into the giver. Do you see what I'm saying? Which is why it only turns into the giver. I tried to make this point before that everybody.
The giver still contradicts capitalism.
I agree with you. Hold on. I agree with you. I don't think their ultimate goal is capitalism. That's my whole point. I don't think their ultimate goal is good capitalism. I don't even think their goal right now is good capitalism. That's the whole point. I made a video on TikTok speaking about how all these guys like Sam Altman and Elon Musk and all these guys was so against Zohran Mamdani and democratic socialism and saying this is so bad for everybody, look what's happening and stuff like that, right? And then they're gonna be like, oh wait, yeah, but we're gonna need some robots, and yeah, the robots they might take some jobs, but that's going to be the human cost. But look, it's gonna get better. We're all gonna get better. And then he's gonna be like, oh yeah, but then how are we gonna finance it? How are people gonna pay for their necessities? He's gonna be like universal basic income. Shaggy? Universal basic. That's the opposite of capitalism.
Yeah.
But then you have some capitalists that would be like, oh, well, there's some people that said, universal basic income can be a part of capitalism. Okay, well, okay. If I guess if you want to go to that extent, in my opinion, it's all just late stage capitalism. They're trying to find a way to be able to extract as much amount of wealth out of the people, and out of any which way that they can figure it out, whether they have to imperialize multiple countries, they will do it to figure it out. My whole point about this is going back to the privatization of data and to the compute. None of this involves people. The data conversation, right? She's talking about the EU being able to have access to America's data. America's data is them leaking AT&T and leaking T-Mobile and leaking Sprint and linking all your phones, data cells, and whatever, plus all the data that's being collected from AI and all this stuff, scraping you. Mm-hmm. Those are conversations that still does not involve the American people at all. I don't understand why we have so much infighting in politics, and it's a clear division between the conglomerates, which means the bourgeoisie, the people, and the American people. Because the American person, regular person, does not have any protections against, what's the guy's name? What's the Carp's, Palantir. The American person does not have any protections against Palantir. The American person does not have any protections against AT&T doing another data leak. How's a data leak happen every week or every couple of months? The American person does not have any protection on that. So when she says the biggest problems that we face is the privatization of data, keep in mind, every time I hear this, it's not including the average person. I'm not just talking about American people now. I'm just talking about everybody. Which is why I just think at this point, we should be looking more at these people like, I don't even want to say enemies, but we should be looking at these people like skeptical more than JB Diamond. Look at this guy. He's great.
Yeah.
These guys are not sticking up to nothing.
They need to be.
They're
like
all going over.
They need to be the focal point.
They all going.
The concerns, because like I feel like, maybe Trump is a part of the plot too. He coming in here doing all this bullshit, damaging everything. They sent him in to do the dirty work. They don't like how he's doing it. They hate the process, but it's good because it hides what they're doing behind the veil, right? That's the only way I can really see it, the way it's really working out. I don't know. I feel like after everything's going to just come to fruition after this term. everything that they're saying, the privatization, the AI, the robotics, everything like that. I mean, Trump himself said that robotics going to be a really big industry, and unfortunately, everything that Trump has said has went up in market price, and it has came to fruition in the coming
Except
months.
for Netflix. God damn.
He talked shit about Netflix.
Yeah, but then
he broke that down. He literally said we're gonna do something about that with Paramount and everything.
Yeah, but then he bought Netflix bonds.
He bought their bonds?
Yes. We're getting off topic.
Serious?
We're getting off topic.
Wait.
Yes, he did.
I gotta look that one up.
And Warner Bros.
Wow.
Off of that. Well, let me just finish this off by saying, if y'all want to go watch it, you really don't have to. But the Davos conference, them peoples is not for you, right? They speak in a language in which their peoples can only understand. When I say their peoples, I'm just talking about finance and politics world. They speak in a language in which they can only understand, and it's particularly because they don't want people to understand what's happening. And what's happening right now is people are, it's a conservative effort to usurp the wealth out of everywhere and give it to the top 0.01%. And I want to talk about the American Liberty League, but before I get into that, the conversation of like might is right? Like taking Greenland and taking all this stuff. Before I get to the American Liberty League, I just want to get this point off too. Listen, although I never believed in a Trump third term, I never believed that he could get there because one, I'm thinking Trump is getting old. It's a lot for a president to get on a flight every single day to go talk to different countries. That's a lot. So I'm thinking he's not even going to make it there. But at this point, I want you to think, what type of president could fill the shoes outside of him? If he has made all of tensions with the EU, with the Middle East, with African nations, with Latin America, if he has caused all this tension, has waved his private parts around on the table everywhere, who can fill his shoes when he leaves? It seems like he's making a position that only he can fill because at this moment nobody wants to challenge him. Yeah, it's true. Nobody wants to challenge him because right now he got the spades in his deck. But what happens when American president does not have those type of spades no more? Because he's moving like that because he could just invade anything. But some presidents don't move like that. You see what I'm saying? Some presidents like to move like economy, move with the economy.
Mm-hmm.
He's making a position that nobody else can fill because everybody's going to have eyes on America when he leaves. And if they don't move like might is right, then we might really get bulldozed over because everybody hates us at this point.
I think there's going to be a lot of apologies, definitely, after this term. And hopefully there are. We can rebuild some of these relationships, especially Europe. I always said that America should be positioning itself to be the greatest partner of South America. I think those are our biggest allies. They have the most growth. That's what they really need to do, what they need to focus on, not going in and invading Venezuela. I think that's the dumbest move he's ever done. But I'm hoping that when he is done, that we get a Democrat in office, heal the wounds, soothe it, strong, obviously. But, let's just recollect. Let's come back to some starting point. I mean, Biden tried to do it, and then, Trump came in and basically revoked all of that and said it was stupid for about 6 months. He's still calling it stupid. What can we really do about that? But I'm praying, man. I'm praying. Like, I tell you, bro, it feels like we're going on to a civil war every single day. Every single day it feels like we're getting closer and closer and closer and closer. And if that Insurrection Act does get passed, I think that's when we'll see the third term. Until then, I don't think we'll see a third term unless he enacts that Insurrection Act. That's all I really have to say for that.
Yeah, man. I mean, just think about what cities, right? He's only went to Minnesota, Maine. He's in Maine now. But, like, the cities that he has been ramping up a lot of ICE presence and allowing them to go do what they want has been the cities where it has...
The Democrats. Remember when he had that military conference with the war leaders and saying how the war is in our cities?
Mm-hmm.
2 days later, went to Seattle.
But what I'm saying is, overall, though, you haven't seen it touch down in New York, California, D.C.
But it has touched down in Chicago.
Yeah, you're right.
Chicago is the one of the biggest cities in America.
No, you're definitely right. You're definitely right. And what I mean by that, as in, I just don't know what escalation looks like at this point, right? Renee Good got shot, fatally shot. I don't know what the escalation looks like because ultimately it's like, bro, New York might get a little rowdy with it. DC will get rowdy with it. LA will get rowdy with it.
New York ain't doing shit.
Okay. New York, I think it can get rowdy, even though I know guns is not there and stuff like that. But it's just like I'm just talking about to the point where somebody can get shot again. Stuff like that. If people keep seeing that, I don't think it's going to go well. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's going to go well, and it might lead to that insurrection act. Of course, I'm saying that like we saw it first touchdown in Chicago, but like let's say if New York got even more rowdy, bro, that's where the insurrection act would probably happen. Is New York, and if that happens, first of all, man, the world gonna look crazy. The world is going to look crazy because if New York, like that's what I'm saying. Like imagine that happens in touchdown in New York, and he invokes the insurrection act in New York. China gonna move in right then on Taiwan, and that's the whole idiotic stuff, bro. Taiwan gonna move. They gonna move on Taiwan instantly.
Absolutely. Probably at the end of this year.
And then what Trump gonna have to? And that's the whole point. Like that's why the geopolitics don't even make sense, right? Let's say Trump is worried about ICE doing all this stuff, right? He wants to send ICE into New York. All these tensions are rising. Let's say another, God forbid, but somebody gets shot fatally in New York, and now it gets real rowdy, and he has to invoke the Insurrection Act. Then what happens? Bro, if I'm Taiwan, if I'm Russia, it's go time. It's go time. It's go time. That's the whole point. And that's what a lot of people don't realize that, like, yo, when you dedicate all these resources to this and saying we have no resources, we're broke, but we got resources for this.
Yeah.
While we have so many things overseas to worry about, and we want the tensions to lower overseas, as in we don't want China to go and take Taiwan because that would destroy our chip industry. We don't want Russia to take Ukraine or Greenland. We don't want Russia to continue to move west. What stops them when you moving with the might is right type of mindset? Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. And that's the withering away of the good guys. Now, let's move on. You ready to move on?
Yeah, we can move on.
Okay, let me talk about the American Liberty League real quick. This is in tandem a little bit with the Davos conference. I did want to speak about this. So I want y'all to go look up the American Liberty League. It was a political party that was formed around the time that FDR was coming into power. And it was to oppose a lot of the stuff that FDR was talking about. He was talking about the New Deal. He was talking about Social Security. A lot of people looked at that like socialist policies at the moment, right? Radical socialist policies. You know, the policies that shape today. You see what I'm saying? The policies that make it okay for an American to work up until 65 and they'll be able to, you know, live a comfortable life after that, after giving their life to a corporation, right? Policies that has shaped America today. They were opposing that, and it went so far that they went and ensued a coup. Mind you, the people that are part of this party, it is a radical right party, right? Some of these people, like the DuPont family that owns what? The chemical
company. Yep.
Chemical companies, but they also invested into General Motors. This family got rich off of gunpowder and brought that over from, I don't even know what country, but established a family here off of that. They invested into that. Links from the JP Morgan family also in the bank attached into that. And they set up a coup saying, yo, we need to have a figurehead established like a president, but it needs to be ran by us. We need to make sure that this radical stuff, the stuff that FDR was doing, can never happen again. And they were establishing a fascist state, a figurehead, and ultimately we're going to have that power of the wealthiest people in the world. And they tried to establish a coup. It didn't happen. Didn't work in 1933. But I'll be linking the video in that. The reason why I want to speak about this coup is because you got to think about the status in which we're in 2026 today. Right, we have super PACs that run our political system, meaning that people or corporations or wealthy individuals invest into a super PAC. That super PAC then goes and pays politicians to go lobby for them and say, hey, put this in the bill when you're writing it. 1933 didn't have stuff like that. In the ways that in the ways that they were trying to work to make sure that their interests were always served in the government, kind of works today. Because as I was saying with the Davos conference, right, JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon, all those people, Citadel, Larry Fink, all them guys, all them people invest into super PACs. There are companies invest into super PACs that then invest into their interests. To me, the American Liberty League is very similar to what we have today. Just because you might have a figurehead or don't have a figurehead doesn't mean that your interests aren't being served before the average American person. And maybe some people will be like, all right, well, wealthy people should have their interests served before the average American person. Maybe, but if that wealth was created before black people even had a chance to build a business or vote, when will that ever be a fair playing field?
Yeah, I think those people are brainwashed. Personally,
simple.
Absolutely.
When will it ever be a fair playing field? You think that it's okay to have super PACs in this system in which most American people don't even have a meal to give, 10,000 to give.
I would say that I think you're a little historically off by saying in 1933 they didn't have super PACs, because back in the day, with the Vanderbilts, right? The way that they were able to conquer so easily was because they were paying those politicians. They were paying those cops off, right, to build their monopolies, right?
Definitely.
But I would say, on the contrary, we also had like Teddy Roosevelt that was for labor unions, that were for the people, That's probably the first.
I'm saying that it wasn't.
We had.
Yeah. I meant to say that it wasn't as organized and corrupt as it is today.
Right, yeah.
Like the way that we have super PACs maneuvering is that like this was supposed to be underground 100 years ago. Now it's right in our faces.
Yeah.
The lobbying state is right in our faces.
And it's so normalized.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
$2 billion goes from this super PAC, APAC into Hakeem Jeffries,
mm-hmm.
and now Hakeem Jeffries loves APAC, loves Jewish people. Never grew up around no Jewish people.
Yeah.
How does that work? It's simple. That's corruption. And a lot of Gen Z people have been talking about this type of corruption and stuff like that. But I just wanted to put that on Front Street. Go research the American Liberty League and the coup that they tried to do on the American people against FDR. Mind you, that trial was held and it was private. It was not a public trial. It was not spoken about in the public until years later and it got released. But that was a private trial.
Do you think that we would have ended up like Europe if it was a public trial? As in when I say end up at Europe, how Europeans have social programs like healthcare, etc. If the American people saw what these big economists were doing, because at that stage, I think we're talking about the 30s and 40s. This is like right after the labor revolutions, the 40-hour work weeks and shit like that, and benefits.
That's a great question. No. I don't think the American people.
I think we might have got free healthcare.
You think?
I think so.
If the American Liberty League, if the American League, okay, hold on. If the American Liberty League coup was successful, you're saying
no. I'm saying if it was public,
okay.
If the masses saw it,
if the trial was public and the masses saw it and understood it, because masses don't even understand it today. They don't even know it today.
But now there's different demographics. The masses today are very slow, and we see brain rot on our devices every single day. Back in the day, these people were very intelligent.
Yeah, no.
Super intelligent. Like the average person was very intuitive with everything.
Okay, so you're saying.
And they had only one media source as well. It was the radio. It was 105.1 on their damn radio, and they had one damn TV station.
Maybe. I just think the way that American business owners and like, I just think the way that American business owners work, I just don't think that they would want more government intervention in general. And the way that they thought about it like that was like any type of social assistance is government intervention, which is just
dumb because they get social assistance all the time. That's what subsidies are and incentives are.
These
literally.
conglomerates love social assistance.
Yeah.
Love social assistance. Yeah. That's the thing. When Jamie Dimon talks about I need an incentive, right, in order for them to stop layoffs, he's like, I would need an incentive. Yeah, man. How many incentives do you need? I see the way that the bank's stock charts look like right now.
Yeah.
What more incentive do you need? Okay, whatever. I know I'm mixing a lot of stuff.
I think honestly, like that Wall Street, if we reformed Wall Street and their practices, their principles, and their goals in investing, that is probably the key to having a more balanced society because it's all about greed. You know,
exactly.
You went to school for it. It's like.
And you thought that and my idea when I went and learned about Wall Street was that the government, Wall Street is like their whole idea is to make money.
Yeah.
Right? Is to extrude and, extract as much money as you can. The government is then supposed to put regulation on that so that does not happen. Right? Wall Street might get a little too crazy. They might fudge a little numbers. It's important for the government to always watch them like a hawk. When you have the opposite happening, man, we're fucked.
Yeah.
And that's where it's at right now. Like, you have the opposite happen where Jamie Dimon's like, scared to talk about Trump, scared to talk about all this stuff, right? But always needs the incentives, always needs to make money. They're always going to get their pockets lined.
Yeah.
The banks are always going to get their pockets lined. And yet they're always going to say the government can't spend correctly.
They could
spend on you.
Solve world hunger.
They spend on you first.
They Elon Musk during the Davos interview, he made up a comment talking about how the only way we'll be able to end world hunger and all these, calamities for ordinary people is through robotics. This man is worth $735 billion. If he pieced off a good 100 billion, he could feed the whole entire African continent and the South American continent together. Easy. But he's talking about robotics. Wall Street, what they gonna do? They could do the same damn thing. If J.P. Morgan, Goldman Sachs came together and was like, "Hey, we're gonna feed America."
That's the funny thing. I don't even want to cut you because that's the funny thing. Like, if some of the wealthiest people in the world, right, wanted to stop socialism, they could easily just throw money at it.
Yep.
Throw money at the people. And he said, Jamie Dimon was he the specific guy that said, like, oh, I would have no problem doing government assistance. I would have no problem doing government assistance. And I just wire the money to the people. Is he the one that said that? Somebody said that. I'm gonna go find it. If we just wire the money to the people, well, you can actually literally just wire the money to the people. You literally don't have to go through the government. They're acting as if they need to go to the government, and government is overspending on all these different social problems, like they can't throw money at the issue. The issue is the top 0.1% is being able to hoard all this wealth from the middle class and working class.
Yep.
And the working class and middle class is stretched thin. Their savings are gone. And now it's getting to the point where it's like, yo, they're still teetering. We don't know if we're going to have this recession. The American economy is praying and hoping to God that AI saves it.
You know something I wonder, right? Talking about that, the middle class is getting shrunk. We know this on the news, CNN, all that, right? When you watch those Morgan Stanley podcasts on Spotify, Goldman Sachs, job growth is great. Wage growth is great. AI videos or whatever they're doing. But we see in reality that nobody's getting paid good. $16 an hour. You graduated from college. You're getting, $18 an hour in New York? You're getting the same amount of money as somebody with a criminal background. That shit is crazy. But Wall Street says that wage growth is good. Jobs numbers are good. 18,000 jobs this month. Blah, blah, blah. Where are they getting these numbers, right? So let me just finish real quick. Mm-hmm. If the reality is that people are being underpaid, but Wall Street is saying that job growth is good, wages are good, is the market going to correct in some manner, in some way at a given moment? Because it's going to get to a point where people are not going to have money to spend disposably, right? I just don't know how it looks in the next 5 years. Because at the end of the day, the only way that prices go up, as in how stocks go up, is if people are consuming. And if nobody is able to consume, then what do we have? It's something, I feel like it's something interesting to think about. How does that really work? Now, we do all have consumer addictions as Americans, but it's getting smaller and smaller every single year.
Woo! Here we go.
Make society work better for everybody. And
would you raise taxes to pay for that?
I don't think you'd have to. I think it would drive a lot of growth. I think I did the numbers at one point. It'd be $60 billion of spending. I think it would probably create more than that of growth and taxes. And if you have to raise taxes a little bit, that's fine. But again, I don't want to have the body argument. I don't know anyone, okay, and you guys in the room, might be Democrats, Republicans, who thinks the spending that sending another $1 trillion to Washington, D.C. will actually improve anything. So when you say raise taxes, if you said raise taxes and directly give it to the people who need it, I do it. No.
So do it then. Yo, I can't. Bro, you hear that? Do you hear your mans? You hear your mans talking like that? You hear your mans talking like that?
Bro. I hear the video. Yes.
What do you think about that, bro?
I think we should.
Yo.
I think he bullshitting, man.
Yo.
All right. I think
he said if they were to raise taxes, I would do it if it went directly into low-income families. But instead, he don't want to do it because if he thinks they'll send another $1 trillion to the government, that they will financially misspend it.
Which they will.
Who advises the government? The same people he went to business school with. And that's what I'm talking about. The same people he went to business school with. You can't tell me that the government.
Yeah, but like that's not an excuse.
It is though. It is though. It is though. These are friends. They are friends.
So
KPMG, BCG, all these consulting firms that they went to business school with is the same people that are advising the government, and they're the same people that are getting the government contracts.
It's advice though. It's not theirs. It's not their son or something like that. Like this,
bro.
Just because you're my friend doesn't mean I'm gonna listen to everything you do. Like there needs to be some sort of accountability on the government.
You can't tell me that the government. You can't tell me that the government is ran by all these inefficient people, all these idiots that went to the same schools as everybody else.
I'm saying that the government needs to have more accountability. Like Jamie Dimon going up to Capitol Hill, he's throwing his money out, blah, blah, blah. He's there for his best interest. The government's best interest is the American people. That's what's forgotten. That's what is canceled out. The government needs to do a better deal of actually looking out for the American people. They have no accountability. So, like, yeah, they're advising them. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Of course they should be advising them. Shit, if I go, you're supposed to milk the cow. If you a big organization, you go to Capitol Hill, you're supposed to milk the cow. The government's supposed to go in and balance that out with the American people.
This is what I'm saying.
And shut that down.
This is exactly what I'm saying. Right? If the Pentagon fails their audit every year. Every year. Pentagon fails their audit every year.
But we're going to talk about the Somalis.
There's going to be money that comes in to the government, and they're going to still divert it to the Pentagon. Mm-hmm. The Pentagon has had contracts with the same people probably for the last 40 years.
Yeah.
Those contracts are the same contracts that have been consulted on, right? Those consultants are going and saying, hey, go mess with this company. Go mess with this company. And I'm saying these are all friends. And I'm saying all these people, all those companies right there that they all consult on and say, go mess with this company, go mess with this company, lobby to get politicians in to mess with those companies. That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying that the government is these guys.
You're saying. I understand.
The government is these guys. And when they say some stuff like this, when Jamie Dimon says some stuff like this, like, yo, yeah, if I had the money, or if they wanted to tax me extra money and directly pay it to low-income Americans, man, how about you take the $5 billion that Trump is suing you for and go and invest that into low-income Americans? I don't want to hear none of this until they just go take their money and put it where their mouth is. That's it. Put your money where your mouth is. Stop acting like, oh, yeah, if they raise back. Man, he probably donated into against Mamdani. Talking about, oh, yeah, if they were to do this and directly put into low-income families and then directly attack the people that are talking about low-income families. Man, it's cool. It's cool. Again, American Liberty League. Again, the American Liberty League. I want y'all to go look that up. All right, listen. I want to give into a good lesson about the internet. Yes. So over the last week, we saw SNEAKO, Andrew Tate. I don't even want to name all of them, but they were in a Miami club, and they played the Kanye song, Hail Hitler, right? They did their dances. They were all making jokes, thinking that this was funny. And I know once they all did that, right, and they went to bed that night, and they woke up the next morning, it was like, damn, bro, was that a dream? And they checked Twitter, and they realized their life was over. Yes. And let this be a good lesson for everybody that wants to be a part of the internet. If you want to be a creator, there's different lanes you can go into, right? You can go into the broadcasting lane. Let's say you want to be a podcaster, man. You can go into the broadcasting lane and maybe you want to talk about knitting, right? Or maybe you want to talk about how woman is terrible, woman is bad, woman is etc. Make sure that you go be with your men, be an alpha male, and women. You could do that. You could do that and end up on the path that has led them into that exact room, into that exact truck, playing that song and becoming their life is over. Listen, I got a couple of things.
I think what it really is, the core, you should make your broadcast about hate. Okay? Like, we can make jokes. Let me clarify what I mean. Right? In a sensible manner, right? You know, I'm not saying to make women jokes, race jokes, all of this, especially Jewish jokes, because we see what happens when you do that. But, you know, you going around talking about HH, I'm not going to say that out loud, right? I don't even want that to be taken out of context.
Facts,
it's crazy.
I'm going to cut it.
It's crazy. Yes.
It is crazy.
So,
and overall, like, that's the thing.
No, you cannot be successful through hate speech. Okay, Nick Fuentes, can't really talk about him. He's an underground streamer. He's like an underground rapper. This man is like Osama's son. Y'all probably don't know who Osama's son is. Literally, he's like a famous Dex. Y'all don't know him. He's always gonna be an underground streamer. He's always gonna be an underground broadcaster because what he's saying. You cannot be successful through that unless you want that domain. If you want to be known for that, then okay. But come on, man. Like, he's fighting charges too. He in his own war. I know we're talking about SNEAKO though. Let's get back on SNEAKO and Andrew Tate.
5 streamers.
Because I know SNEAKO's your guy. That's your man's right there.
5 streamers walk into a club.
That's your guy.
And cosplay.
Right,
oh, you even saying that's my guy is like ridiculous.
Nigga,
5
you
streamers.
said Jamie Dimon, my guy. I'm telling people.
You said he was a great guy. You said that in your description.
You told me that SNEAKO's a great guy too.
When did I say that? Just lying.
You didn't say
I said SNEAKO's a great guy.
You said your beginning videos were based off of him.
I said SNEAKO's videos.
Tripping.
I think SNEAKO is a great creative. I think his videos in the beginning are some of the best creations that I've seen on YouTube. Deadass. Aside from that, I think SNEAKO has gone down one of the worst paths I've ever seen a creator do. Ever. He went from a creative that actually cared about like putting out good opinions and also, you know, bringing good discussion to the world to anything is clout-based or talking about different people he wanted to do and jump on it. I think it's a terrible decision to do as a creator. Okay. 5 streamers walk into a club and cosplays Nazis. That's them. Andrew Tate is crying and went on PBD because he lost his steez and got beat up in a match, and now the whole internet don't care about him, and he wanted to be a part of the 5 Nazis. Okay. Kanye is crying because he never should have made that song, right? We already know that song dropped 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. He don't even feel that way no more, supposedly. He don't feel that way no more, and yet that song is now trending and viral because of these 5 idiots cosplaying Nazis. So Kanye got reeled into it. You should have never made that song, and that showcases the impact that you can have your digital footprint. It matters. It matters. And SNEAKO is crying because he feels like he got sold out by all the other 5, you know, guys cosplaying Nazis. That's the problem. SNEAKO, let this be a lesson. You know, he made me just bomb on you a little bit, but you was a great creative. You went down the path in which fame and clout would be able to get you all this notoriety and stuff, and you based it in the fact that this is going to be discussion-based. You wanted to have discussions. You wanted to talk about political opinions and stuff like that. Nick Fuentes don't be talking political opinions. He just be talking hate. Look at the language he uses. You think that this is all a joke. So when Aiden Ross is talking to you and you're like, oh, why can't I make a Jewish joke? You start to realize that not all jokes are made the same. They're not. And you start to realize that a lot of your friends are not your friends. You know why? Because you're in the internet space where it's all just a bunch of sellouts. We'll do anything for fame and clicks and notoriety. Get back to your old videos where you actually talk about discussion and you actually look for meaning in this world. I haven't seen nothing that you've created that looks for meaning in this world. All I've seen you create is division. Division between Christians and Muslims. Division between Jews and black people. This whole conversation that these internet people have brought up about the Matrix, it's like it's diluted the actual conversations about the government, the world, and how we actually look about the world. You see what I'm saying? And that's what attracted a lot of young boys to these kids. I mean, to these guys. They care about the world. They're getting a consciousness about the world. And then they look to y'all because y'all are talking about, oh, self-sustaining. Oh, we're going to lift. We're going to hit the gym. We're going to do all these different things. And then 2 years later, you're in a truck singing the song. And now you're wondering where it all went wrong. You wondering, coming back to the pinching yourself, wondering if this was a dream. It wasn't. It's reality. You did it. You did it. You messed it up. I feel sorry for you, but I want this to be a case study for all the kids out there right now that are looking and are thinking, hey, can I make it in this internet space, be a content creator? Hey, don't go down that path. Don't go down the SNEAKO, Andrew Tate, all these other kids' path. Take the long route, man. Take the long route. Maybe it don't get you the fame and notoriety like them, but they're not even that big. As you can see, they're in their own internet world. It ain't worth it. And I don't think it's that profitable, if I'm going to be honest. I don't think SNEAKO and all of them are living the most profitable life. So let me just say that right there, man. That's my
I
take.
feel like I really disagree with when you said cosplayers. I think these people are actual Nazis. Absolutely. Everything they say, SNEAKO, like Christian, putting Christians against Muslims, like all that. I feel like you kind of giving him some grace. You say, oh, I'm sorry for him. I'm not sorry for him at all. Then again, I never watch his videos like that. But when I see shit like that, it's hard for me to even have sympathy for you. You know, you walking around, you're disgracing the faith of Islam. I'm not Muslim, but like I just defend all religious groups, no matter who they are, as long as they believe in the Most High. You're disgracing them, manipulating their viewpoint. You're talking about, HH. It's just, I think he's a Nazi pretty much. I think these people are crazy, especially when you have a Nazi in the room. He literally goes on Twitter. He goes
do have a
online
Nazi in the room
and talks on it. And
I just don't think I just don't think he's a Nazi. I think
first of all, what we've known this since a kid. You are judged by the people you're around, right?
Facts.
Okay. Now, there could be some grace. Hey, maybe he's different. All right. Well, number two, you're projecting exactly what he says on his platform. You're literally saying what he says on his platform every single time through that message. So now
Facts.
You are a Nazi. Now you are grouped into it. Now there is no grace. There's no maybe he's different. There is none of that. You are exactly him. And it's weird because you informed me that he's Haitian and Filipino. Okay. Weird.
And I heard you're a little Jewish too.
Weird. Very weird. You got friends that are Jewish. Aiden Ross is Jewish. Weird. I don't know. Myron. Let's stay on SNEAKO. Honestly.
He don't even get a conversation anymore, bro. He done.
That's all I got.
Okay.
That's all I got.
The reason why I want to bring this up, and damn, now we spending too much time on this topic. The reason why I want to bring that part up specifically is because although I don't think SNEAKO is a full-blown Nazi, I think he's in that edgy culture, which a lot of boys, young boys that don't mature, stay in. And it's like, oh, I want to be edgy enough where I can just make any joke. Man, not all jokes are weighted the same again. Y'all got to understand that. So when you're talking to Aiden Ross and it's like, oh, well, I'm just making a Jewish joke. You make black jokes.
I just feel like edgy jokes are edgy people. I know edgy. I remember being on the bus. People used to do, they used to do it all. I get it. But when you're in the room with a person who literally their life is about hate, is about white supremacy, it's about
When you talk about Nick
Nazism.
Fuentes,
He's in the back. He's yelling it. He sees SNEAKO do it, and he's like, oh, this is my time to say it. He gets excited every time. He loves it, right?
Yeah.
I just feel like you can't. It's different if you're being edgy and you're around other people with your same mentality, okay. But when you got somebody that literally makes money off of this.
no, I'm not with the edginess.
He is a spokesperson.
I'm not with the edginess. I'm saying that a lot of these guys, in their mind, think that it's just jokes. That's what I'm saying. A lot of these guys, like SNEAKO and them, be thinking like, all right, I'm playing this song as a joke. Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like, these guys think of it like, if it's happening to black people, it's happening to everybody. And at that point, why don't we treat it all the same? And I'm saying overall, the way that black people operate within themselves is different how Jewish people operate within themselves. If Jewish people have knocked you off from all the Miami clubs, and you got banned from all that, and it's probably not even just Jewish people, first of all. It's probably a couple of clubs, and the other clubs called the other clubs saying, yo, don't let these guys in because they're bringing mad bad press to this club. And you over here questioning everything. It's like, bro, and you're calling it the Matrix. Bro, stop being an idiot. Take some accountability. And I agree with you, as in, you're around the company you keep.
And I might get some hate for this. I ain't gonna lie. Or maybe I might regret what I'm saying. But I do feel like saying HH is different than throwing racial slurs at black people. Why? Because that person, that individual, literally
genocide.
Like
you're an idiot. Like you're an idiot. It is way worse than slurs. You don't even have to say racial slurs. Slurs in general, it is way worse than slurs because you are promoting
advocating for him.
Yeah, advocating one of the worst people in history.
It doesn't make any sense.
And that's why Kanye, even though you don't feel that way, I mean, he might be going through some manic episodes. I don't know. I don't even talk about Kanye like that. But which is why you cannot put something out like that where in 2 years it can get picked up by a Nazi and 4 other people cosplaying Nazis.
Yeah.
Like, y'all are corny.
It's disgusting.
The corniest people on the internet, bro. Corniest people in the world, bro. And everybody looked at that clip like, and went to bed. That's the thing. Everybody looked at that clip like, bro, what? Who are these kids? Who are these kids? You guys probably made it on national television. being idiots. All right.
Next topic.
Oscars. Listen, just a little
yeah.
quick. I just want to talk about it a little bit. Sinners got nominated for 16 Oscars. Hey, if I had the claps, I would clap it up. We can clap it up on 16 Oscars. I think it was the most nominated film. Granted, I don't think Sinners is probably the best film that the Oscars have ever seen. But I'm happy that it got 16 nominations, and it's definitely one of the best films in the last couple of years, I think. So hats off to the Sinners. Hats off to Ryan Coogler. Hats off to Michael B. Jordan. Hats off to everybody in that film. It's a great film for black people. And I'm happy that it's getting its notoriety. I better not see it lose its main awards, because it should win its main awards. I think it's going up against Marty Supreme. If I see Marty Supreme win over Sinners again, I'm a tweak. I watched both movies. Don't worry. I watched both movies. I swear to you, man.
Oh my God,
if I see that, don't worry. I'll come see Timothée Chalamet myself. I'll be like, yo, you got to just talk to the peoples, man. Talk to your peoples. Okay. Last couple of questions. I want to do some existential questions for us. Let me see if we got some good ones.
That was a good question. The first one was
Which one, right here?
Yeah. Do you think our generation is more?
Okay. Do you think our generation is more informed than ever, or just overwhelmed?
You want me to go?
Yeah.
I think that our generation is very very messed up. Like, it's very slow, honestly. And that's what I was saying earlier when we were speaking about the intelligence levels of people in the 1920s and the 1930s and the 40s. You know what they did a lot? They didn't have no technology, but they read a lot.
Facts.
I think we had a conversation the other day that the best brain exercise is reading.
Mm-hmm.
Most people do not know how to read. Comprehension skills are stuck at a third grade level. That does a lot with your psyche, personally, right? We see it all across the boat. You go on Instagram Live. Listen, I do it too. I ain't trying to say I'm a saint. You got brain rot every single day. I used to know people that all they did was watch brain rot. Mm-hmm. That's it. SpongeBob and Patrick, just
think about
and 3D. You see the videos?
I know we talking about our generation too, but hey, that older generation is glued to them AI videos.
Oh,
on
yes,
Facebook.
they are. Yes, they are. My grandfather watches this one. It's called Billy Buck, the goat, the Jamaican goat.
Yo, my girlfriend's mom was telling me, they be on it.
Yeah,
they do. they be
do.
on it. Hey, watch your parents.
No, for real.
Watch your parents or your grandparents, man. They might be doom scrolling Facebook right now on some bad work and WhatsApp. Yeah, you're not slick WhatsApp. Okay, I think.
Wait.
Answer the question.
But do you think our generation is more informed than ever, or just more overwhelmed?
You called our generation non-readers. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. you didn't even answer the question.
Okay, I think we are more informed than ever. I don't think we're overwhelmed, because how can we be overwhelmed when we have so many different distractions? You know, Epstein files drop. Okay, 2 days later, Somalians, boom, Greenland, then Venezuela. I don't really think we're overwhelmed. I think we have all the information in the world.
Isn't that what overwhelmed means?
I think overwhelmed is more of a feeling, though.
Overwhelmed as in, is our generation more informed than ever?
I think we are more informed.
As in, we have a lot more information coming in. I mean, we have a lot more information that we're retaining versus are we just being thrown a bunch of information and we're just overwhelmed? As in, we're not retaining information. I'll answer. I don't think we're retaining a lot of information. I actually think we're very overwhelmed. I don't think we're more informed. Maybe on the day-to-day, like, we know Snapple facts about what the politics is happening, and that's just because of social media. So you'll see, like, a headline, and you'll read the headline, but nobody reads the second page. Nobody goes into the article to go figure out what they are talking about, or reads or listens to news on a wide scale where you're getting a lot more of the big picture and macro than just the micro little tidbits, right? Like, some people, I can't tell you how many people have talked to me about JD Vance and him having another daughter or another kid. And I'm like,
missing the plot.
Missing the plot.
Missing the plot, yo.
I'm like, why are we talking about JD Vance's kid? I'm like, I don't give two about JD Vance's kid. You see what I'm saying? But we are overwhelmed with information where you're getting headlines and you're getting stuff like that, but they're not reading complete articles, which is why you should go and subscribe to Perspective or follow us on Instagram, Perspective, where you can see news stories hit, and then you're going to read a lot more stuff, because that's the whole point of it. You know, infographics is important. Read, man, read, please. People read.
I would say that you clarifying it. I think we are informed. I really think we are more informed than ever, but it's not overwhelmed because people are not, I don't feel like people are really digesting all this information. Why? It's not because of what they're looking at, it's because what they're not looking at. Like you said, perfect example, JD Vance. We talking about his kids. JD Vance don't even like his damn wife. We seen it on national television, right? He talking about how you've been with your wife for what, 10 years, and you're going online talking to another woman about how you hope that she sees the gospel one day. She's a Hindi girl. She's Indian, but then you're going to deport her. Let me stay on topic though, right? I just feel like people, like I said, it's brain rot. The plot, the plot is missing. That's what it really is. We're talking about Ivanka Trump when we should be talking about Donald Trump. Trump is talking about. I think I'm being redundant, honestly.
No, I'm hearing exactly what you're saying. I agree with you. As in, we have a lot of information. We know a lot. It's more about the action at this point.
Yeah.
Because we know the information. I feel like Gen Z is very tapped in. Actually, I think we are very overwhelmed with information, but because at this point, it's not about the information now. It's about what are we going to go do, right? It's about how are you going. You specifically, how are you going to show up day to day in your workplace, at your home, and with your friends, right? When these political conversations come up, how do you operate? Do you just sit there and be like, man, I don't know, bro. Let's just talk about something else, right? In the corporate space, when you see stuff moving around a little bit, are you the person to ask some questions? Or are you the person to just keep to yourself, keep to your cubicle, and then go home at 5, right? Those people that are not really as engaged into this world or engaged into what's going on, right, are going to be the people that just... It's the same people that was in Nazi Germany, bruh. Just looking around. What's happening? And then we go into a world war. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's... People are like... The people in the Davos conference was talking about 1920s. They're like, oh, yeah, the innovation boom, the technology boom in the 1920s. And then one guy was like, yo, did y'all forget about the end of the 1920s? The Great Depression? Mm-hmm. Please, American people, do not lose sight on that. That these things that has happened in history is very emblematic and cyclical, is what I'm saying. It is cyclical.
Ain't nothing new under the sun. It has been written thousands of years ago. It's the same thing. Technology evolves, mindsets evolve, but it's the same damn story every single time.
All right, last question. If the American dream was rewritten today, what would be removed and what would replace it? I kind of want to reframe that question, but if you have an answer, then I'll let you go.
Today, what would be removed and what would it replace? I mean, if we going based off of the oligarchs of our nation, they trying to just make us rent for the rest of our days and basically rent all of our appliances. I feel like the American dream is you living in a penthouse in New York City. Yeah, you wake up, you have your car rented. There's no really white picket fence. I don't really have much to say to that. I ain't gonna lie.
That's all. It's a hard question.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm thinking. Well, I'll just answer the question. To me, I want a lot more of Americans to want to be business owners, right? To want to have significant impact on their day-to-day people that they interact with, right? Now, you don't have to be a business owner. Of course, you can go work for a corporation. But I would much rather a lot more medium to large size corporations and small corporations than the conglomerates that we have today. I feel like a lot of people are hell-bent on trying to work for an Amazon or an Apple or the Mag 7, etc. And it's like, it's diluting what we can actually do, and it's diluting our workforce and our technology and our education. Because you go work for this company, and this company is using you for the next 10 years, and you go jump ship. But you're not really applying any of your education. You're not really applying a lot of your skills other than working for this company. You could be doing a lot for the nation. You could be doing a lot more for your community. You could be transferring a lot of these skills that you might have within engineering and figure out some cool shit that you could implement in your town. And I think a lot of people lose sight on that sometimes. Like, sometimes it's just really just, let me go to my job. And sometimes I understand that as an American, because sometimes that's the only thing you can do. I need this money and I got this family, so I'm gonna go to this job. But then you forget about community and you forget about the basic, day-to-day what you enjoy doing. And sometimes that hustle mindset that we get put in, it's like, man, you lose sight on what the dream is. The dream An American dream was, oh, let me go make it for my family. Not let me go be this individual person to go live in the city in the penthouse and go work at JP Morgan.
Yeah.
You know, like the American dream was supposed to be about family, community. White picket fences. Well, my neighbor's right there. Right now, we rent until death. It's just gonna be a bunch of projects. I might be talking too much. Am I talking too much?
Nah, I feel like you answered it perfectly. I feel like, I guess what the question, how you rephrase it was, what do you want the American dream to be? What do you want Americans to be? I feel like with business, I think community. I think community is the best one to end on. I don't really have no much to say to that. I got to really think about that question. That's a good question. Community is something that I think is missing in all of our lives. I mean, I think what came out, the men loneliness epidemic, people having less than like 2-3 friends, you know what I'm saying, not being there. I think that's something that leads us to a lot of mass shootings, depression, suicides, stuff like that. You go into those echo chambers. You don't know how to sleep at night. You're tweaking out. Now you're drinking. Now you're smoking. Now you're doing coke. Now you're doing all types of things, trying to drown the pain. But in reality, all you got to do is really just step out your box and just go out there and just get some friends. Talk to some people. Talk to some new people. You sitting in the crib all day ain't doing nothing because you on the phone just on Instagram all day. I've done it. I ain't trying to, Instagram is my thing. I love Instagram. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. You just switch them out, right? It's like, what is it? Chicken?
Okay,
chicken
keep going,
and rice.
bro. Keep going.
But I feel like that's definitely community is the heart of everything. I think that's the main reason, again, why we see so much depression, so much suicide, so much just anger within ourselves. Why we have SNEAKO, why we have Andrew Tate, these red pill people. I saw one of them. I don't even know his damn name. It's the white guy, not Clav, but the one with like the jaw. He's much like
I don't
Andrew
know
Tate.
his name. Go ahead.
Whatever. He literally said that education is pointless. Education is for workers, right? I think people are looking for community. People need help.
Yeah.
And they just don't know how to do it. Now somebody comes over and they just milk it.
Yeah. I guess even touching on this American dream point, it's like, man, like, and that's the dreams that like people. Every little boy want to grow up and be a billionaire. Like that dream is flawed. That dream is flawed. Like you want to go make it and be this huge thing. Like it's this individual pedestal that you'll never reach that you then hate everybody because of it. You know, like how about we reframe the goal again? What happened to medium-sized businesses being okay?
I think it's subjective though, because you could be a billionaire and be a good person. Like I know, like yes you can.
Like who?
Yes you can.
Like who?
We don't know though. Why you don't?
Well, I'm not saying that, but you're saying like I'm saying overall. I'm saying that every little boy wants to be this, and I'm saying that that's not the pedestal that they should be aiming for.
And I'm saying it's subjective.
What's subjective?
The point that's subjective.
I didn't say that they couldn't be a bad person. I mean, it couldn't be a good person. I'm saying that that's not the dream that they should be going for.
But you're narrating it as it's a bad way. You become being hateful towards everyone. That's what you said. You said
I said if they don't reach it, then it becomes hateful. I'm saying it's an unreachable goal for a lot of people, for 99.9% of people. So why go for that goal? How about your goal should be medium-sized businesses? I know it's a buzzword.
I misunderstood.
I know. As soon as I hear you start defending them.
No, I don't. What I heard was that you're saying in the goal of becoming a billionaire, you end up hating everyone in the process. That's what I heard.
No, I said okay. I said when you don't reach that and you start hating everybody in the process because you're reaching an unattainable goal. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes a lot of men don't understand where that ambition comes from. The ambition comes because you've been told from a kid that you need to go get this money. That's an ambition in me. And I had to reframe when I went to Ghana. I had to reframe what I was going for. You see what I'm saying? I'm not going for the same goals I was going for when I was 16. When I was 16, I wanted world dominance. I think a lot of boys want that. And I think a lot of boys that read their books, what are the books they
48
read?
Laws of Power.
48 Laws of Power.
Machiavelli.
Man, I remember when one of our friends sent us this book, and it was like a derivative of the 48 Laws of Power. It was like seduction or something like that. How to court women. It's like, bro, like, man, how about you go outside? How about you go outside? Reading all these psychology books on how to manipulate the world to get it's world dominance. That's what a lot of boys want to grow up to. And I'm saying that's not the goal we should be going for. Hey, how about you grow up to want to build a medium-sized business, maybe a large-sized business, okay? Make some good money for your family, for your people. Give back. How much do you need? A lot of people think they need the world, right? Yeah. I had a family member that I was talking to, and he got some money, and we were talking, and I'm like, man, like, how much do you need? Because we were talking about that, and he was like, man, like, you always realize that once you get it, you need more. That sounds like a gambler. I don't know if you know your goal, right? Sometimes a lot of people don't realize that they know their goal. Now, I understand kids, you need a house, etc., right? Mm-hmm. Like that's the idea, is that no matter what, when you have kids, a lot of stuff becomes a lot more expensive. Mm-hmm. I don't think people need to be striving to become a billionaire. I think a lot of people need to strive to be in good health and in good community. And a lot of that is going to work itself out. It is.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's definitely the core of it.
That's it. But all them kids reading 48 Laws of Power, reading all these psychology books to how to manipulate the world, man. The only thing y'all doing is becoming manipulators.
I always say that I feel like you should always read the Bible first. I think the Bible is the key to life. That's the way I see it. I'm not saying that,
And why?
Because like I said earlier, it has every single story. Everything has been written before, and I think the Bible shows those stories in many different ways, many different variations. It's the same story repeating over and over and over again. And yes, it's repetitive and redundant, but that is life. I feel like once you understand what life is, you understand what God is, who the devil is, you're able to read these books. You're able to read the good and bad books and balance it out. You know, you need a good starting point.
But I think the way that you think about it, so because I don't want it to be taken a different way, because I think you obviously support Christianity and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But the way that you think about it is also from like an objective standpoint. Like you would say to even anybody else, everybody should read the Bible in general. Yes, not necessarily like off of just being a religious text. Yeah, no, but also just a good text to read.
No, I honestly, I think I think the scriptures are good testaments of how to live your life. I feel like there's different ways to do it. I think the message is all the same. At the end of the day, I think my best example is, we all love chicken, but there's over 1,000 different ways to make chicken and cook it. It's the same piece of chicken at the end of the day, but we fight over jerk chicken versus Trinity chicken. So, yeah, I think pick up the Bible, pick up a book that gives you good morals. I think the problem with these incels is like, okay, I could watch Andrew Tate. I used to watch Andrew Tate, right? Not that other shit, like more of like
the gym bro,
the motivational stuff. Yeah,
that's what everybody said.
I feel like the Bible, what it does, it gives you this discernment. And this is like just one piece of literature. Like there's other things, and maybe you could find through your own experience. But I think you need that foundation. Okay, what is life? You need that foundation, that grounding. So when it comes to you're presented by a SNEAKO, you're presented by a Mark Lamont Hill, your mind isn't just warped in their values, be an individual at the end of the day. And I think that comes through reading, honestly. Yeah. I read in a very powerful book. It said that how strong are your beliefs if they're so easily swayed by words? So,
yeah. I also think, lived experience, obviously, and understanding that I think the biggest core principle for me is that, like, knowing that you know nothing, man. Like that's the best thing. Like always knowing that you know nothing, that there's always going to be more that you can learn. There's always going to be more that you should know. So to be able to make definitive statements and definitive standpoints, especially when we're young, like I can't imagine making these definitive statements. Like that's the whole point. It's like, man, there's so many things that are going to come into you and knowledge and stuff like that. But I'll never go and be like, nah, Christians ain't it, or Muslims ain't it.
Yeah.
Like it don't make no sense. Like that's the biggest form of, that's the biggest showcase of ignorance, right? Because at that point, it's like, what do you know? How could somebody from Abrahamic religion and go shit on Buddhism? Like I just don't understand that sometimes. And it's just because, I don't know. I feel like the love of God and knowing God is that it's endless.
Absolutely.
Listen, Gen Z, this has been a great episode. I'm glad Kanai was able to join us. He's not no formal co-host yet. We'll see. I don't know. We gotta see how his discipline is. But I think this was a great episode. If you liked it, comment. Comment what you was thinking. Comment if you liked it. Comment if you disliked it. I don't care. Wow. Share, like, subscribe. Do what you need to do, man. It is not a podcast. It is a show. We're bringing the most pertinent topics pertaining to Gen Z. Listen, any updates do I need to do? It's the end of January, so make sure y'all are, planning for February. If, love is in the air and you got a partner, make sure you're planning Valentine's Day now. Okay, it's important. Anything else? Can I get some good?
Like, share, subscribe, do all those things. It's free. I'm gonna say it again because y'all didn't get it the first time. So,
okay,
all right.
It's not a show. Wait, it's not a podcast. It is a show, and I will catch y'all in the next week, man. I love y'all. Gen Z, what is up? Peace.
All right.